The 4 magazine, Detroit, baby, we out here. You see what's going on, we activated, we ain't playing no games.
Without further ado, let's get to it, man. Back with another one, man. There's been a lot of stuff going on. Last time we had the brother on, man, it was Meg the Stallion, Jay-Z, TD Jakes. This time, man, it's a whole lot more stuff going on, man, that I definitely want to get your perspective on. How you feeling, man?
All's well, brother. Moving and shaking, man. Little jet lag. I've been flying all over the place, man. Just got back from Mexico. Just got back from Miami. So I've been moving around, bro. I decided to take a couple of weeks off and just enjoy myself because I never really get the opportunity. I never focus on me. I'm always focusing on the next thing that I could do, next business venture. So I'm never really focused on like taking time out for myself. So that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. Yeah,
for sure, man. Look like you got some new pieces on, man.
Oh yeah, shout out to Soci, Icy Mike. Shout out to my man, designed by Chris. Ryan did it at the Diamond Kingdom. Shout out to my man Sam at the Diamond Company. Shout out to everybody who's trying to put me together and keep me shining.
For sure. I want to ask you too, just off rip, man. Every time it seems like you get new pieces, you got a new chain on the way. In terms of your one thing that you feel like you spend the most money on, that if you didn't spend money on it, you would have way more money. Would that be jewelry or clothes? What would it be for you, man?
Clothes. It would definitely be clothes. Because I have a shopping habit, right? So you have my vice is shopping. So you have some guys who drink, they smoke, weed, whatever the case may be, they drink, right? They pop bottles or whatever the case may be. They go out and they party, they enjoy themselves that way. With me, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't use drugs, period. Never have, never will. So whenever I'm in a good mood, I like to go shop. Whenever I'm sad or depressed, I find that shopping kind of like gives me some sense of happiness, if even just for a moment, because I'm the kind of guy, I'll buy something, I won't even wear it. You can see my closet, bro. I bought shit 4-5 years ago, shit that the average person would have wore that same day if they were fortunate enough to have bought it. I bought shit, I got shoes, $2,000-$3,000 pair of shoes that I've never worn. I bought them 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, so it's like a temporary, it's like a drug to me. I know how drugs feel, so to speak, because the initial high that comes with being able to get it, it's like a turn on for me. But then when I get it, it's almost the next best thing because I don't give a fuck about it for real.
Nah, for sure, man. Well, let's get straight to it, man. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the media over these last week or so. One in particular, mainly, Young Thug, man.
So it's a Thugger week.
Yeah, it's definitely a Thugger week. And it's unfortunate, too, because to a lot of people, Young Thug is their favorite rapper. He's like, the biggest artist in this generation, in this time, you know what I mean?
One of them, yeah.
Yeah, so for these allegations to come out and hearing, these tapes, there's been a lot of tapes that's been released. Mm-hmm. And then Atlanta just being divided at this moment. I definitely want to get your perspective on it, man. When you first heard the tapes, what did you think?
When I first heard the tapes, I immediately went to how did somebody, how did the blogs, how would they grant access to these recorded conversations that he was having on a jail phone? My mind went immediately to, I'm a conspiracy theorist, right? So it wasn't, I listened to about 4 or 5 of them back to back, where it was 4 or 5 different subject matters, right? And Thug was locked up for almost 2 years, so there had to have been thousands upon thousands of hours of recorded conversations that normally you only become aware of them when they are made a part of the larger investigation. Like if he had said something that was self-incriminating or something that was incriminating to somebody else as it specifically related to his case, that's when we learn about that, because the prosecutor normally gets the audio and put it up and make it a part of the discovery and make it a part of the trial.
Yeah.
That never happened. I was shocked. I was shocked that they were released. I wasn't shocked about the conversations because he's a normal human being. He has emotions. He has feelings. And he was at the highest level of black entertainment as it relates to music. So I'm not surprised that he felt some type of way about everything that is coming out that he said something about. I'm not surprised about it at all. But I thought about, my mind immediately went to who released this shit? Who gave this shit to the general public? And I know that just because you work in law enforcement or working in jail or work, that don't mean that you are beyond, because somebody got paid.
Yeah.
Somebody got bribed. And when you hear about, it's not like somebody just took all his jail calls and just releasing them day by day and in chronological order. People went through them and methodically, surgically took out everything that he said about somebody. And they're doing it in the obvious attempt to besmirch his character and to destroy him in the eyes of the public domain.
Yeah.
It's an obvious attempt to break down any ties or any relationships that he may have had. So in my mind, I believe that the Fulton County Sheriff's Department and the Fulton County DA, along with a couple of other well-placed people who don't like Thug and his politics now, I think they're doing everything in their power to try to expose him, not discredit him. I'm sorry if I said discredit before, because you're not discrediting him by putting out what he said. What he said is what he said is what he said. So it's not trying to discredit him, it's trying to expose him and expose the real him.
Yeah.
Because he thought the conversations that he was having was in private, right? So somebody thought, obviously it's an orchestrated thing where somebody said, hey, listen, this shit is explosive. And how we destroy him, because we couldn't get him this way, we couldn't send him to the penitentiary for the rest of his life, but we can destroy his public image to the point to where nobody who is positioned in a power position will even want to touch him. Right now, Thug is persona non grata. They don't even want to touch him.
Yeah.
And so it's not just affecting him, it's affecting his relationship with his girl, Mariah the Scientist, because now most of the conversations that they are releasing to the public is when him and Mariah the Scientist was sitting there gossiping and talking like a bitch.
Absolutely.
And am I saying that was wrong? No, on the face of it, it wasn't wrong, because we know that guys talk to their females more than talk to their homeboys. But it's not a good look because of all the negative shit that he was saying about so many different people.
Absolutely.
You know, it was an obvious attempt to isolate him and to put him on an island by himself.
Yeah, man, because for the first time, even though we know the stature of Thug, but for the first time, we began to really see like how powerful he is. That's been the conversation.
Yeah.
Even from people like Rollo speaking on the power that he's had to manipulate and move the tides in Atlanta. So with this coming out, it's kind of dismantling the power. So I'm wondering, did the police or the people that released these tapes, being that like you said, they couldn't convict him, so now it's time to tear down his street cred to completely remove, the power from him.
Absolutely. That's absolutely, positively what happened. Because like I said, there are thousands upon thousands of hours of recordings and phone calls. So when you think about what's being released, it is all the salacious details. It is all him saying something negative or not so positive about some of the highest ranking members in the world of entertainment. So of course, it was done with the obvious attempt of destroying him in the court of public opinion. Am I surprised, like you mentioned earlier? No, I'm not surprised, because the same shit Thug said, like specifically about QcP being a rat, it's the same thing that most people in the world of entertainment was thinking, especially because it's such an anti-snitch culture in Black America that when we were, I've had questions about Lil Baby and Boosie and Wack 100 calling other people out for their indiscretions and for their street behavior, their non-conformity to the rules and the ethos of the streets. I've called them out about that shit, specifically as it relates to QcP. So I was wondering, how can you have people who are in direct proximity or in close proximity to QcP who deal with him on a day-to-day basis, but then they know he snitched on the motherfucker. He didn't just snitch. He went above and beyond. He told the police after the shooting and the homicide took place, he told them who did it, where it happened, what time it happened, and also he made follow-up phone calls to the police detective in charge of the case and to the prosecutor and district attorney who were in charge of prosecuting the case, all in the attempt to try to force them to take this guy off the street.
Yeah, one thing too that that I heard Thug say that stood out that I didn't know in regards to QcP, because we already did an interview where you talked about that, and you even talked about a face-to-face encounter that you had with them. But it was new information to me that you heard about the situation of him pulling out the gun on the alleged person that killed his and basically held him there for the police to come.
That's old news. Everybody in Atlanta knows that. Because QcP was Pierre before he was QcP. He's a street nigga. So all of the instant forgiving that they're trying to associate with him not being a street nigga, with him being a civilian, P was not a civilian. I'm not even going to... I guess if he can say that he's not a civilian, then we can say now that he... I guess if he can say that he wasn't in the streets and that he's not a civilian, that he is a civilian, I guess we can say, or we can offer evidence to support the fact that he was. P was in the game. He was in the streets. All of his associates were in the game, in the streets, the highest level of the game in the city of Atlanta. He'd been in the street for a long, long time. So to suggest that his sins as far as being a snitch should be absolved, or his feet shouldn't be held to the fire because he's not operating in the streets and he's not a street nigga no more. Yeah, if that's the case, then we gotta give everybody that pass. Because there are a bunch of people, for example, Arnold Boyd of BMF fame. Arnold Boyd is one of the most consummate businessmen in the metropolitan Detroit area right now. All right? He was a member of BMF. He was one of the star witnesses in the BMF prosecution. Right now, Arnold Boyd isn't in the street anymore, but he's one of the primary investors behind some of the top clubs, bars, and restaurants in the city of Detroit. And people are working hand in hand with him, not in the capacity of operating in the streets, but just investment. When you see your kids ride a bus to school, that bus is owned by Arnold Boyd. Some of the top restaurants and clubs in the city of Detroit, they're owned by Arnold Boyd. I don't give a fuck who's leasing them, the actual physical building, or the investment capital that went into starting that business or restaurant came from the number one nigga who told on all things BMF.
Was that the brother? Was that the brother that got caught with, that had was doing all their paperwork and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was the initial thing.
He was running for mayor too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him. Same one. So he turned his life around.
He running for mayor?
He ran. He was one of the mayoral candidates.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't make it past primary. Of
in
course.
this term?
Yes, absolutely. Arnold Boyd for mayor. Yeah, it was him. The same Arnold Boyd who was a star witness in the BMF situation. Arnold Boyd is one of the richest motherfuckers in the city of Detroit. And he's also a primary investor behind a lot of the most popular nightlife spots and restaurants in the metropolitan Detroit area. And people are working with him hand in hand. And as a matter of fact, one of the people who he does business with, he called me about 5 or 6 years ago when he had a business idea. And he asked me, without even saying his name, he asked me a question without even giving me the information, because I didn't know I wasn't following the whole BMF saga, bro. I was in the penitentiary when all that shit was going on before they started, and then when they failed, I was locked up the entire time. So one of the guys who used Arnold as a primary investor to all the shit he got going on right now, and he's one of the most prominent businessmen in the city of Detroit, all of Detroit, right? He called me and he said, "Hey, Dawgface, I respect your mind, I respect your business acumen. I have something I want to run past you." It's a street conversation, but then again, it's not a street conversation. He said, if you had an idea for a business and you didn't necessarily have the funding or the capital to realize your idea or to take it from a thought to an actual real thing, and somebody you knew who had the money and believed in you, if they wanted to invest in you, would you take the investment? Would you take the money? And I said, yeah, depending on the terms, I would take it, because if it's my brainchild, I would still want to have some operational control and majority ownership control of it, because even though you gave me the money, it's still my brainchild. So if it's making money for me and you, I still want to have some operational control. And he said, okay, well, what if the guy who was offering to give you the money was a rat? And I was like, what you mean a rat? He was like a snitch. He testified against a motherfucker, and he didn't just tell. He cooperated with the DEA, the FBI, and he testified on the stand against them. And I was like, man, that'd be a hard no for me, man, because I don't want to be associated with no motherfucker like that.
Absolutely.
Because if a motherfucker if he didn't tell me the guy's name, and he didn't tell me at first, but then as the conversation progressed, he's like, well, you ever heard of a guy named Arnold Boyd? I'm like, no. He say, pull your phone out. We on the phone. He say, pull your phone out. I pull my phone out. He said, go to Google and type in Arnold Boyd BMF. So I typed it in, and it said, star witness in the prosecution of BMF. Terry Flannery, Demetri Flannery, right? So I'm looking at the shit and I'm reading it, right? And then it has a whole bio. It's a Wikipedia bio on this guy, right? So it looked at it, then it also showcased all of the other business ventures that he's in since his release from prison. 'Cause I think he went to prison for a couple of years after he testified. He saved himself because he was like the bookkeeper,
Right?
You know what I'm saying? So I looked at all the investments and other people who I met, who I know, who know him, and was telling me since the time I got that phone call, was telling me about the guy. So he asked me, would you do it? I said, nah, probably not, bro, 'cause I don't want to be associated with a guy like that, right? He said, but it's not, we ain't talking about no dope. We ain't talking about no street shit at all. We talking about business. My conversations with him are about business. It's not about nothing about the streets. So what do you think about that? And I said, I don't know, just the hood nigga in me would make me pause on that, because I don't want to even be around no motherfucker like that.
Especially for somebody like you that, you know what I mean, that's from the streets and that's still, I think it may be a different situation. Like the dude that was asking you that question, is he a street dude?
Yeah, he's a classic street dude.
Yeah, he can't do that.
Yeah, but he's not in the streets right now.
Right, but he's still,
he was one of the, if I mention his name, the whole city of Detroit know who he is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention his name, but the whole city of Detroit know who he is. So he's like, man, would you do it? I said, man, I don't think I would do it just because of the nature of this shit, based on my pedigree and where I come from, what I've been through. I think I would have a hard time. And then in the event that me and him ever seen eye to eye, first thing I'm gonna call him is a rat bastard. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Yeah, but he took that money from me because the money was there. So my overall point is that motherfuckers, black people, we're really, I'm not gonna say we're the only ones who care about or who put a price tag on or put snitching on a pedestal as in terms of the rules of what you should do and shouldn't do, because other people care about that as well. The police don't even like snitches.
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying? All you gotta do is look at a police who runs neck and neck against the police, who cracks that blue wall. They got a problem with them. You will never get no backup if you tell them the police. They'll let your ass get gunned down in the street by some motherfucker before they ever come in and back you up, right? So, but niggas don't really, black people say they care about who snitched, who ratted, who testified, but the truth of the matter is, in the real day-to-day lives of these people, they don't give a fuck, especially if a person got some money. Some of the biggest black club owners in the city of Detroit have testified against people in drug conspiracy cases and in homicide cases. Some of the biggest bar owners and club owners, some of the biggest black businessmen have testified against somebody. And not 20 years ago, not 40 years ago, recently have circled motherfuckers in the police lineup. That's him. He the one who robbed me. He the one who shot me. He the one who smacked me with the pistol. He the one who did all that kind of shit. So niggas talk that shit, but ratting, man, that shit is relative to how much money a motherfucker got. Because if a motherfucker got money, he still got motion. Even niggas who claim to be the most stumped down gangsters still gonna deal with him because they can benefit from him or off of him in some way.
Now I did want to kind of go back or whatever, because we talked about Young Thug in terms of the videos that was, the audio that was released and him talking about the QcPs, Gucci, and a host of other people. However, the actual 2-hour testimony, you know, or recording of him actually,
they didn't force him or have to coerce him to have the conversation. He reached out to them. He volunteered the conversation.
Which was shocking because,
Yeah.
and I kind of want to say this because what I'm starting to realize and my observation is it's the people that wake up every day that's preaching. Right, I'm talking about it ain't even got to be nothing going on in the media that requires you to make posts
I
about
hate
snitching.
rats. Yeah.
It seemed like the I hate rats people be the ones that be snitching.
Yeah, because trying to cover it up.
And that was the shocker
It's
for
like
me.
it's Freudian. It's Freudian. It's psychological.
Or even
in
with,
nature.
you know, I say the LBGT, like you ever heard the saying, if you turn your head and you always talking about those type of people, you low key.
You fighting some demons. You either on that tip or you got you fighting demons in your own mind, in your own heart, because you really want to get into it, but you masquerading it by saying you extremely anti this.
Exactly.
No, nigga, you really want to put a cock in your mouth. That's really what you want to do.
And so that was the shocker with Young Thug. Speak on actually listening to that and like the backlash that he getting in terms of, you know, Rollo, YSL Woody. Well, he don't go by that no more. But.
Rollo. So let's Rollo. You can't absolve yourself of what you were accused of doing. You don't lessen the impact of what it was you tried to do by keeping it juicy. That doesn't absolve you of breaking the so-called hood cardinal sin by pointing out that he did it too. No, you still are what you are, and you still have to stand on your dean as it specifically relates to how you played it, right? But of course they're gonna grab a hold to it because these same people like Thug was so critical. Lil Boosie was so critical. Baby took up, we know that Baby took up Thug's, he carried his water while he was locked up. So he went out of his way to talk about Gunner and to talk about a variety of different other people about who he didn't fuck with and Dog being a rat and this, that, and the third, right? But breaking news, bro. Lil Baby has somebody extremely close to him by the name of Steve. Ask around. Steve is one of the biggest snitches in the history of Atlanta. Period. And he's like this with Baby, and Baby knows he snitched. So it was hypocritical, disingenuous, and flat out bullshit when Baby started to attack Gunna. You ain't got to wait because you got a rat motherfucker next to you for the entire, before you even became a rap star. You had a rat motherfucking Steve who was next to you, moved with you, traveled with you, and fucked with you to this very fucking day. Who told and testified on motherfuckers in Atlanta. So it's a bunch of shit that motherfuckers don't know because people who are not from Atlanta, they look at these stars. But the bigger question is, whoever said these niggas was anything other than rappers? The problem with the shock is because black people as a whole, we place too much emphasis and too much credibility on what a motherfucker got and who a motherfucker's supposed to be. Whoever said that when did fucking rappers become Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Joanne Chesimard, Afeni Shakur, Saleh Shakur? When these motherfuckers ever become the Black Panthers of the black community? They're not spokespeople. Most of the rappers or the people, the athletes and people who operate in the world of entertainment, most of them motherfuckers dumb as a box of goddamn rocks. Whoever appointed, the problem is black people, we look at people's success and then we automatically start to appoint these people with a higher level of intellect, and the nigga dumb as a box of goddamn rocks. We automatically say because he has a bigger car or more jewelry or more access to fly around and do shit, we automatically attach, we equate that with that success must mean that he's smart enough and wise enough to be, since he accumulated that means he's better than a regular rank and file motherfucker.
Right. So
therefore, we're willing to put more weight behind what they say. Most of these rappers dumb as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
They never supposed to be appointed to be that.
And the misnomer is simple, man. Anytime you find out what your gift is and you dive into your gift, it's a natural law of the universe to reward you for that.
Yeah.
So all you really need is just hard work, dedication towards your gift to fulfill your purpose, not necessarily saying that you're worthy to be idolized as a god.
Yeah, but listen, even with what you just said, I'm fully aware and I understand it. But black people now, they have been so successfully brainwashed and misled, miseducated and undereducated. So much so that we don't even recognize the obvious for what it is. We like to be lied to. We like to be misled. We like to be entertained. We like to believe in whatever whimsical fantasy island ass shit that motherfuckers create, because in our minds, we want to be just like that. We want to have that status. We want to be acknowledged like that. That's why celebrities, more oftentimes than not, can get away with something that a regular rank and file nigga can't get away, which is why the main conversation is, how is 6ix9ine a rat? How is Woody a rat? How is Charleston White a rat? How is Gunner a rat? How is Rollo a rat? But when it comes to Thug, nobody really wants to say it. The only people who are really calling Thug a rat are the people who have been exposed, allegedly, of being rats themselves. And they're mad and angry and upset because they didn't get the same benefit of the doubt that motherfuckers are giving Thug. Motherfuckers giving Thug that benefit of doubt because Thug come from a background of spanking shit. And and he's free now. So even though he's not allowed to come back to Atlanta until 2088, motherfuckers don't want to chance it.
Yeah.
So they're going to bite their tongue. But Young Thug wasn't the most dangerous person in Atlanta. And if you think about it, all the rats that we learned about coming out of the YFL trial, they're free now. They're free. They're running around being interviewed. They're on podcasts. They live in their normal lives. So that tells you, and that's not a condemnation or a criticism of Atlanta, because we got rats everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? But when you think about all the people that we discovered was bold in the YSL trial, all those guys are home now. They're walking around. And the people who they told on are seeing them because they're from Atlanta. They seeing each other. They bumping into each other in the clubs. They bumping into each other at the hookah bars. They bumping into each other at Linux, exclusive game, Phipps. They bumping into each other and they seeing each other. And they ain't doing shit. That should tell. That should tell people who look up or aspire to be that, right? That should tell people who have bought into the whole gangster image, this shit or that shit ain't what motherfuckers think it is.
You know what, man? Throughout those conversations, 21 Savage kind of surprised me with the way that he was kind of responding back to Thug, not as a follower, but as someone,
as an equal.
As an equal. Mate. Yeah, man. That kind of stood out to me. With
shouldn't have been surprised because, for one, 21 Savage got to where he is right now, based on his own merit. 21 Savage didn't become an elite tiered rapper or A-list rapper based on doing a song with anybody. He built his own brand, right? And he built his own legend. So he's not one kind of people who is beholden to or sitting back waiting for a crumb off somebody's table to help him. And not only is he an A-list rapper, but when it comes to the world of business, the music business, he's also one of the sharpest tools in the shed because he owns all his masters. He don't have no boss. He has genuine partnerships in the music business. Most rappers don't have that. And so 21 Savage, when you think about 21 Savage in the songs that he has had that has gone gold or platinum, most of those songs, with the exception of what he did with Drake, the collaborative project that he did with Drake, that was all him. He don't need Thug or Gunner. So I'm not surprised because that's really who he is.
Yeah.
The general public might be surprised because they really don't understand who and what he represents.
Yeah. So he mentioned something about Baby jumping the gun, Dirk jumping the gun, right? So
for clout.
In retrospect, who do you feel, not that even that I personally care, but just for the matter of conversation, who do you feel is, I don't want to say wronger, because I know, even though that ain't a word, but I know a snitch is a snitch, but Gunna or Thug, who's the bigger rat?
Well, listen, let me just say this first time I answer your question. Young Thug made a couple of fatal mistakes when you look at what he did with Gunna. Gunna was signed to him, right? He was his artist. So good, bad, or ugly, as his career goes, so does your pocketbook, right? So everybody knew that Gunna, despite the fact that he was running with Thug and all that Thug shit was going on around him, or he was in the midst of it, nobody who knows him ever looked at him outside of his association with Young Thug like he was a threat. He was a threat only because of his association. If he was a threat, he would only have been a threat in people's minds because of his association with YSL, with him being a member of YSL. He was never like that. So when it comes to who's wronger, it is Thug who presented himself to the world as the consummate, ultimate gangster. It is Thug who presented himself to the world as King Slat, King Slime, King Snake. It is Thug who didn't waste an opportunity once Gunna took his plea. Didn't waste an opportunity. At first, we were waiting to hear from. We had this conversation. We were waiting to hear, and I'm one of the people who said, even though Gunna took a cop or took a plea and took that deal, we don't know if Thug told him to do it, because in my mind, if I was Thug, I would have told him, you're not a principal figure in this case. Mm-hmm. You don't have a reputation for being a street dude. You're not being accused of murdering anybody or robbing nobody. So I don't want you, because I know you ain't like that, because I know you. Who knows him better than Thug? I don't want you sitting in nobody's jail, because the longer you sit in jail, I know you ain't got no real intestinal fortitude. I know you're not really operating off the gangster culture or off the gangster ideology or the 10 gangster commandments. I don't want you. See, niggas stupid. I don't want, if I know, you gotta know who you're dealing with. You gotta understand your personnel. You ain't cut like that. Mm-hmm. So the longer these motherfuckers hold you,
Right.
The greater the possibility it is of you revealing something.
Yeah.
And like Thug has said, now, you told the police XYZ, but you never met none of half of these niggas. You never met half of the niggas who they said killed somebody or robbed somebody or shot somebody. You don't even know them. I don't even know them. Thug said, I don't even know all these niggas. Because YSL had got so big that he didn't know all the players. He just knew who he knew. And then that shit trickled down. So his thing now is, you lied in order to secure yourself that plea to get out. And the shit that you acknowledged and the shit you said you knew about, you ain't know about none of that kind of shit. You just did that to save your own ass. If I was Thug, this is the first strategic mistake he made. Bro, niggas gotta learn how to think. If me and you go down, me, you, and 4 niggas go down right now, and we know that nigga is a hoe nigga. You know your nigga's a hoe. That's your homeboy, but he's a bitch nigga, and you know it. We don't want that bitch ass nigga down there fucking with Kim Worthy, right? Come, hurry up and bind this nigga out. Bind him out before you bind me out. Because this nigga can't take no pressure. So bind him out and get rid of his bitch ass, or bind him out and just make sure he good. Because he free. We're going to take that shit off of him because we want to put him in a position.
Remove that pressure.
Yeah. These niggas don't do that. So I would have said, I told him to do that. Because there's no sense, we're both superstars. There's no sense of both of us being locked up behind some shit, and nobody's saying you was a central figure, an intricate part of none of this shit. Let him go. I would have kicked him loose. I would have told my lawyers, find a way to get this nigga up out of here, because he ain't like that. Mm-hmm. And why is 2 superstars, they're both 2 multimillionaires sitting in here, for what reason? Nigga, kick that nigga out so he can go earn. Now, I need money.
Now, the other half of this conversation, not to peel the layers back,
right.
However, it was a lot of business, quarreling that was going on between Thug and Gunna in terms of re-signing to Thug. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but,
I'm familiar with it.
Gunna was, kind of did some behind the back stuff. And Thug was willing to give him, whatever number that he wanted to re-sign. However,
but he still was going to have his hand attached to it.
Right.
Because he was acting as a liaison, as a go-between. He was going to help facilitate, because he wouldn't come. Listen, bro, it's like the whole thing with Baby and Cash Money and Lil Wayne and all the rest of that shit and Thug, right? So when you middleman a deal, you're putting yourself right in the middle of it. That means you're earning some type of percentage, or you're getting some type of fee for having done so. And we see that right here in the city of Detroit, when you have certain aspects of the hip-hop community claiming to have put a motherfucker in the room that led to them getting a deal. You have certain people who feel like they should have been, they need to be compensated or should have been compensated, right? And they're telling the whole world in private, well, I helped Skilla get his deal. I helped V's get his deal. I helped Vez get his new deal. I helped whoever get their deals. And so when they're not compensated for it, they feel some type of way. So I don't think it was deceitful or a backdoor move for Gunna, who knew that he was about to be a free agent after, you know, right? Because he talked about prior to them getting locked up.
Yeah.
Because Thug, he did have a 5-album deal, and then he took it down to a 3-album deal prior to them catching the case.
Exactly.
He already did one. When he came home, he dropped that album that went crazy. Then he just dropped the last one.
Yeah.
So he's no longer a YSL artist, and it is what it is. So do I think he was wrong for negotiating or trying to find himself a deal? No, because Thug, you already said you gave him autonomy to do what he wanted to do. You already said you never took a penny from him. So if you never took a penny from him, you never earned off of him, and you did everything in your power to help him, you did it out the kindness of your heart. Because that was the real nigga shit to do.
Why would you want to resign? What would be the point of resigning?
Why are you trying to allude to or suggest that he was a snake or did some snake shit? Because why I asked him? Yeah, you asked me, I'm my own man now. I still was taking meetings and trying to find the best situation for me, which is what you said you wanted me to do to begin with.
Yeah.
So you wanted to eat off me? So Thug contradicting himself.
Yeah, I get that. I got to see
So
that.
you said you never took a penny from him. You took his deal down from a 5-album to a 3-album deal. And you were never going to take a penny from him. So you told him, hey, you know the deal finna be up, buddy. What's happening with you? You know what I'm saying? What you doing? What number you want? And he said that Gunna's response was, big brother, I ain't trying to hit your pockets like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm working it out. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. That's not snaking somebody. That's somebody who you allow to have autonomy. Somebody who you allow to do their own thing. That's somebody that you call the brother and the friend and the comrade, trying to figure out the best possible situation for himself. That don't mean, if they would never caught that case, you telling me that if Thug would need some money for anything, that Gunna wouldn't have gave it to him?
Right.
He would have gave him whatever he wanted.
Nah, for sure,
So
for
it is
sure.
what it is. So that's not a snake move.
For sure, for sure.
Now what QcP did to Lil Baby, that was some snake hole shit.
Yeah, break that down.
Well, I mean, it just came out. Thanks to Young Thug, it came out.
Right.
And so what's on and according to QcP's own admission, according to, and we know that the person who encouraged or inspired Baby to leave the streets and get to the rap game, we know that person was Thug. We know that Thug is the one who said, listen, man, I'll pay you to come out the streets. So Thug ain't always, I met him before. I've been in the studio with him before, right? I've been in the studio with him through my association with Al Nuke when I was fucking with Nuke. I was in patchwork with Thug and half the YSL camp, right? When they was working with Zaytoven. So I met him, and he was always one of the most humblest guy, smooth guy. So thanks to his private phone calls that the whole world knows about now, is that he questioned Lil Baby about the whole hype American sale of QcP situation. And then, like he said, Baby was slow. And he was dumb as hell for putting his life and putting his future in the hands of QcP and not really understanding what his value was. Because when he said that Lil Baby is quality control, at that time when that company was being sold,
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah, he was in the
because
green.
Amigos was down. Amigos, I'm not gonna say career was in the tank, but they was separated. They were divided. Takeoff passed away, so it was what it was.
It was in the red from a company standpoint.
Yeah, from a company standpoint, they wasn't really earning it. City Girls had split.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think they put more money in the City Girls than they actually get out of the City Girls, because to manage and support a female artist is a lot more than what it takes to manage and support and help bolster a male artist. So Lil Baby was the money train associated with him. He was at the top of the totem pole. Yachty I'm never gonna disrespect Yachty for what Yachty did to no advantage to itself by helping Detroit artists. You know what I'm saying? Yachty was always in the city of Detroit. So if there's anybody out of that whole camp that I have more respect for than anything else, despite the fact that Baby co-signed Doug with Gotti.
Yeah. From an overall standpoint.
Yachty, when he was at the top of the totem pole, came to the city of Detroit and fuck with niggas in the city of Detroit and really never took a penny from him. He just fucked with him just because. So Lil Yachty doesn't give him the credit.
And Flint, just to mention that.
Yeah, Flint as well, right? So what the issue is with that is the people, Scooter Braun, the Hype USA, the Korean-based music company, they approached Baby first and said, hey, I want to buy you out of your contract with QC, and I got $150 million for you. And Baby deferred. He said, man, I don't even want to, I don't, because he was being managed by, it was signed to QC, but it was like a signed management thing, even before Said took over, and before Rashad, who was his original manager when he first took off, Rashad, and then when Said took over, it just was what it was. He deferred to QcP. That's my man's big brother. You know what I'm saying? If it went for his pocketbook, even though Thug is my man, he's the one who actually did the developing of me.
Absolutely.
He A&R'd my career. He did the marketing, advertising. He put together the scope of the entire plan that helped me. And without QcP believing in me, despite the fact that I was Thug, because Thug believed in a lot of motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That don't mean them niggas is superstars.
And that don't mean he gonna put a crazy bag
that don't mean it was
them.
like that.
You know, it's
they ain't
just
like
really that cosign.
They built Baby up. Yeah, they built Baby up. And even without Thug's cosign, Baby's biggest records don't have nobody on them whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's laying duds and laying eggs right now, but his biggest hits are
solos,
right?
Yeah.
So he deferred to QcP. QcP put the deal. He nailed it out. He did what he's supposed to do. He's receiving a lot of criticism. People are saying, well, you backdoored. And I know I said earlier that what QcP did wasn't right. But let me just say this. I want to take that statement back because my initial investment and my belief in you helped turn you into the superstar that you eventually became and that you are right now. So if you bring a business opportunity to me with somebody like Scooter Braun wanting to invest money, wanting to buy a major, so I'm going to give him something more than just an artist. I'm going to give him an already established label with a brand, with artists already attached to it. I'm going to sell my interest to these people. Okay, so versus getting the $150 million, bro, we're gonna make it work. I'm gonna get $300 million, right? And that's what happened. People get the numbers all over the place. No, he got $300 million from Hype. There was $250 million went to his pocket, and then $50 million went to cash, to stock options, because now Quality Control is a publicly traded company now. Right. So, do I think he took care of Baby? I'm sure he did. I'm sure, because don't forget, at that point in time, they was going through all that shit with Offset. Offset wanted to get the fuck away from QC because he understood that the company was on the auction block, was up for sale. And he didn't want his career and his brand to be sold into a new situation. That's why Offset wanted his freedom so much and so bad. He understood his value. And that's why QcP started to attack Offset. And that's why QcP used Baby as his proxy to attack Offset, because they knew they needed him to be a part of that deal to keep the value up. Because just imagine if with him go take off dead, Quavo is what it is, the Shitty Girls have fallen apart, Yachty ain't as hot as he used to be.
Offset still making music, trying to get, you know.
He's Cardi B back and forth, so he's still, even if it's not just music, he's still a marketable figure because of what he got going on with Cardi.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. So he's still earning. And with all the antics that he's doing outside of music, it's still pushing his music up.
100%.
It still causes his music to stream and sell. So yeah, that's why. So Baby, I'm sure Baby got, and then people think that QcP put that whole $250 in his pocket. He had bills, he had obligations, he had partners, he had investors. It wasn't just him and Coach K. So he didn't take that whole $250 million and put it in his pocket. He had to grease some palms. He had to make shit work. So I'm sure he gave Baby about $30-40 million. And then Baby still has the right to earn and make money. So I'm sure he gave him about between 30 to 40, $50 million.
So, all right, just a pivot real quick, man. We got to talk a little bit about Wack 100, man. Initially, when the Thug thing was going on, DJ Academics actually asked him about it. He didn't want to go on record and, quote unquote, his words, disrespect Thug by calling him a rat based on the relationship that they had. Later on, he began to be vocal about it, whatever. But now, Wack comes out with the New Testament of the streets, the 12 commandments of the YN, where he revising the street code.
Right.
So we just gonna go off back with the disclaimer. He said this is cultural commentary. No, we ain't gonna go with the disclaimer. We gonna go with the introduction. As the Bible has the army of the Lord, so the YNs created the army of the streets. These are their commandments, not of righteousness, but of survival, wit, and hustle. Every soldier in these streets lives by some kind of code. The OGs had theirs. The YNs built new ones. Here they are, written as doctrine for the soldiers of the pavement. So now let's go. Rule number 1. You can snitch on somebody who snitches on you first. A soldier is not bound by loyalty once betrayal has been committed against him. If another soldier breaks the oath, the covenant is void. The OG doctrine was, once upon a time, telling was eternal shame. Now the YNs call it balance, an eye for an eye in paperwork. What you think about that?
Well, so let me just be absolutely clear. What Wack did, or what he's attempting to do, or what he's just simply articulating is what the fuck is happening out here in the streets, right? This is what's actually going on. In real life, in real time, this is how people feel. This is how people are operating. So all he's doing is just examining what we see going on and then say, hey, if that's what y'all gonna do, let's just give some definition to it and call it what it is.
Yeah. Because this is the active. This is what's
going on. He ain't make that shit up.
Yeah, right.
No, this is what's going on. So since this is what it is, since y'all trying to pick and choose, and he's a picker and chooser himself. Since y'all trying to pick and choose and y'all trying to redefine what it is, because there's always been nuances to ratting, bro. Ratting ain't just, well, if you say anything to the police, if you say anything besides get my lawyer, you a rat. That ain't what ratting is. Ratting is providing substantive information about criminal behavior about somebody else, whether it leads to them getting locked up or not. If you're giving police some information with the intent or with the mindset of trying to get the motherfucker locked up, then you are, in effect, cooperating with the police, and that makes you a snitch. You got some motherfuckers who believe if you allow yourself to be interviewed by the police, if you trying to make it juicy, or if you know you ain't did it, you know what I'm saying? And there's other motherfuckers involved. If you talking to them about anything, then you a snitch. That ain't true either, right? Motherfuckers have conversations with the police all the time. The Lucky Lucianos, the Bumpy Johnsons, they had police on their payroll.
Yeah.
Right? They had them on their payroll until they got so hot to where that payroll didn't mean anything, and police took their hands off of them, and it was what it was. Having a conversation with the police don't make you no motherfucking rat. Especially when you're not giving up any information that you're not cooperating with them trying to get the motherfucker knocked down. They ain't no motherfucker. The police are human beings too, bro.
Right.
The biggest misconception is if you have, my nigga, where do you think the police come from? The police come from where we come from.
Community.
They come from the community.
People. Yeah, because the whole thing is like you ain't even supposed to have I know some people where it's like, bro, you ain't supposed to have a conversation. They ain't supposed to be. You know what I mean? Nothing. It's like, damn, these people are regular, you know what I mean? People like us.
Okay, so watch this. Up until in Detroit, up until the Dennis Archer administration, if the civil servants who operated in law enforcement had to live in the city of Detroit, all the police, everybody who worked for the city of Detroit, whether it's the mayor's office or city council, they had to maintain the residence in the city of Detroit. So that meant that most of our police were even the ones who came from up north, Petoskey, because they take a lot of these white boys, they ain't from Detroit. They from Petoskey, Gaylord, shit up north in the upper lower peninsula, in the upper peninsula. So that's why you have so much racial division even inside the police department with the officers, right? Because a lot of them white boys, they shipping down here to become Detroit police, they hate niggas to begin with, right? So the whole thing is that the police used to be a part of the community. They used to live next door to the motherfuckers who possibly or potentially could commit the crime. We know police, bro. If anybody who say they don't know police in the city of Detroit, all the street niggas know police. You would be a fool if you operate in the street, whether you selling dope or whether you doing some other crazy ass shit, right? The most successful amongst the street niggas in the city of Detroit
Is the ones that got a
are
decent
the ones
rapport.
who have a relationship and a rapport.
Even
with
if
police.
it's, hey, how you doing, brother?
Man, come on, bro. You think the police don't know who's selling dope, bro? Niggas in total on everything. Niggas know what route niggas running. Niggas know niggas going to KY, the 10, West V, Ojai. Niggas, the police know all that because so many niggas have gotten caught up who didn't have no intestinal fortitude and told everything.
Yeah.
So now it's just about getting away with it. The police job is to catch criminals. Your job, if you operating in the criminal atmosphere, is to avoid getting caught.
Right.
So I don't hate you, motherfucker. I know what it is.
For sure.
I'm trying to get my money and I'm trying to avoid your bitch ass.
For sure. But I did want to get your perspective on that, though. You can snitch on somebody. We're going to run through them,
Okay.
and I just want to get you can snitch on somebody if they snitch on you. Yes or no?
Well, that's a bad motherfucker.
That is.
So the whole thing is, so let's say if me and you, we go out and rob a motherfucker. And the motherfucker say, I didn't do it, he did it. You still not supposed to say a motherfucking thing. You find yourself in a situation where you can be sitting in somebody's jail. Because what happens is you're supposed to look at your associations. Most motherfuckers who get told on, bro, they know their mans was weak. They knew their man had that in them. You know what I'm saying? So then it becomes a situation where you're supposed to hold it down because you should have took better care of the people you were associating with. When you associate with a motherfucker who breaks down on you, most motherfuckers are not really surprised because they knew that nigga was a bitch anyway.
But what if it's two street dudes, though? Like, what if it's like, I'm a street dude, you a street dude. We get pop. I know some stuff about you that's beyond, because I can't tell on you about the same. I'ma still do time.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, snitching doesn't absolve you from your freedom. It just, you really burying yourself by, you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But let's say it's a situation where we both in the streets, boom, I know stuff about you that you ain't got caught for. You snitch on me about something. Do I got the right to snitch on you about some whole other stuff to get free?
That's a whole lot of snitching, bro. That's a whole lot of snitching. Now, if you ask me my personal opinion, once it all comes out and I see that dog broke bad on dog, right? I might not give him carte blanche, or I might not give him just a general reprieve for that.
Yeah.
But do I understand? Yeah, I understand. I ain't saying it's right, but I understand.
Yeah.
See, there's certain things that are true, right? Whether we like it or not, or whether we like it or not. There's certain things about this street shit that is true. That don't mean we gotta like it.
Yeah.
I would be able to understand. Once you explain to me, what took place and how dog tried to jam you, and you say, okay, well, he tried to jam me, so I tried to jam him back. I might not like it, but I'll be able to understand it.
Yeah, which was kind of like, to some degree, and me personally, you know what I mean? I ain't in the streets, I really don't care, but in terms of 6ix9ine, like that was the discrepancy with his situation.
It's not a discrepancy, because 6ix9ine is not a street motherfucker. I don't get they built up a little Puerto Rican kid.
Yeah.
And turned him into that.
But to the degree of him being betrayed by the guys trying to get with his baby mama and kidnapping him and things like that. And so now he in this situation and he tells on them based on that.
I can go down with the niggas who tried to do all this harm to me. And I was already loyal to them by giving them money. They helped me, I helped them. But then come to find out, the whole time they looked at me like I was a mark and a lame, and they was trying to do everything in their power to try to fuck over me and use me, right? 6ix9ine was a civilian, bro. He was running around with motherfuckers who made him into that. He was never cut like that. He was never gonna stand on none of that shit. And that's what I'm talking about motherfuckers taking responsibility for the associations they have and understanding that if he break bad, you knew he was gonna break bad because he ain't cut like that. All the go to Chicago and pull up and talking that shit about Dirk and all the rest of the motherfuckers, that was all shit that they inspired him to do.
Not stuff that he wanted to do.
Nah, it wasn't on no shit like that.
Now, this is an interesting one, number 3, and I don't want to go through all of them. I do actually want to go through all of them, but I know we ain't got, there's 12 of them.
I got time.
Okay, so but I'm going to jump to number 3. A A man has 72 hours to take his case of his actions led to another being arrested. So basically, Wack is saying in that rule, if me and you in the car, you know, somebody in the car, whatever the case may be, boom, it's really your gun, but the police got him. You got 72 hours to come forward. You get what I'm saying? To take responsibility for your actions. If you don't come in them 72 hours.
I can say it was your shit.
Exactly.
You can't do that. Because that's your man. You with him. Don't get in the car with a motherfucker, right, without understanding their politics. You not in the car. If me and you in the car together, if I got a jammy, excuse me, if I got some fire on me, you know I got some fire on me. If you don't, and you know I'm a street nigga, right? If you know I've been robbing, stealing, drilling, and all that other kind of shit, and you get in the car with me, you are saying that you acknowledge, and you are registering in your own mind that I'm a street nigga, so the possibility or the chances of us getting caught up in some drama or the police get jumping on us, you're acknowledging. Now, if you don't know nothing about it, and you're a civilian, you Johnny Civilian, and it happens, and you get caught up, and if you was to tell on me, I wouldn't be mad at you because you Johnny Civilian. But if me and you thugging together, right, and you know what's going on with me, and we get pulled over, something happened, you can't tell the motherfucker because you shouldn't have been with the nigga, no way. And get in your own car.
That's a critical point, and I'm glad that you said it like that. And this is for
it's
the
about
civilians.
Accountability.
Yeah, and this is for the civilians and accountability on their end. You feel me? Stop trying to fake be cool with street guys. You know what I mean? If you know that you are a civilian, just stay away from those type of people.
And you can be cool.
Listen,
you can be cool with the dope nigga.
Yeah.
You can be cool with the killer, the
from
drill
a distance,
nigga.
though. It's
you
always better to be cool from a distance.
We know niggas who drill and kill and move work, right? What up? Dog, we finna go downtown. Where y'all going? Are we going to Sloppy Crab? Oh yeah, you wanna come with us?
No.
No. Ain't nothing wrong with saying no. Your big mama, your auntie, your mama told you, them boys ain't no good for you, baby. Don't stay away from them boys, they bad news. Niggas don't listen and get jammed up. You can't tell, my nigga. You gotta stand on that because the black community is fucked up. But bro, it is an absolute lie that older people are not trying to tell young people don't do this and don't do that, and be aware of this and be aware of that. If you hard hit, make a soft ass. That ass gonna have to get spanked. You gonna have to get spanked.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. That's a valid point. There's definitely a lot of older people that's forewarning, because they could see it from a mile away. I remember this saying my grandma used to say, man, like, when my cousin and people used to go over, people's house that she knew wasn't no good, she'd be like, man, I sure would love to be a roach on that wall.
Right.
Like, what the hell do you...
Ain't nothing but some bullshit being talked about over there. Here. Ain't nothing but some bullshit being planned, and that's why I'm real heavy right now. When you see me on my podcast, I'm real heavy on, if you have a young person in your house, they're like, well, Dawgface, why is all these young kids, 15, 16, 17, 18, why they all getting killed? Why all these houses getting shot up? All these houses getting shot up because if you got a 16-year-old boy beefing with somebody who's 25, this 16-year-old boy, I know you ain't got no money. You live with your mama, your grandmama, your auntie. So if my people live or survive this shooting, young kids are engaging in more and more grown-up behavior, right? And I'm not even gonna say it's a new trend, because it's not. You might say, well, you mean, Dawgface? Hey, listen, bro, some of the most notorious gangsters in the history of Detroit's underworld, from the 1960s up until the 1990s, them niggas wasn't no 40 years old killing and drilling.
Yep.
The best friends. You hear about the guy who Big D from Most of the Mind was interviewing. I forgot his name now.
Yeah.
Nate Crabb.
Yeah,
Nate was an adult. But the best Rocket Reds and Boogaloo, Ghost, and all them niggas was 15, 16, 17, 18, knocking niggas' heads off. Yep. So now it's Detroit real heavy. A lot of violence going on in the city of Detroit right now. And it's being committed by young guys who 15, 16, 17 years old. So me and shout out to the whole YouTube streets, man, Public Figure Boogie, Uncle Juice, Baby Dial, Detroit Gossip. So we come down real heavy on parents and black people as a whole, especially in the urban environment, taking responsibility for the shit that's happening. A lot of these houses are getting shot up, a lot of this shit that's happening, it's because you have young kids getting into adult criminal behavior, not really understanding the consequence, the immediate drawback and the immediate consequence of their actions. If you're 15, 16, 17, and you're going out on the drill and on the kill, if you're going out to chop and switch a motherfucker down to the ground, the people on the other side of that beef, they know you 15. They know you 16. It ain't hard to figure out that you stay with your mama. How many 15, 16-year-olds you know got their own place across 8 Mile? 0.
Facts.
Right? So it ain't hard to find you. All we gotta do to find you is find your mama, find your auntie, find your granny, find your godmama. That's all we gotta do. Find your mama's best friend, find your daddy, your uncle. All we gotta do is find them and figure out where they stay at, and we're gonna find you in one of the locations. When we find you, we shooting your ass, you catch on fire. So a lot of this shit, you have parents who know their kids are out in the street. You know your kid ain't going to school. You know your kid don't got no job. What in the fuck? You know they running with the wrong crowd. They in your house. All they doing is playing video games, eating shit and farting, playing video games, and coming in out your motherfucking house all times a day. You know your kid, come on, man. You know what the fuck your kid doing. You know what your son and your daughter are doing. So when your house gets shot up, stop all that motherfucking crying. Because listen, if you got a kid, and you're not raising your kids to be that way, if your kid is moving against you and putting you and your family in harm's way, you have to, no matter how hard it is, no matter how hurtful it may be, you have to move that kid away from you because you got to think about everybody else who's trying to do the right thing, trying to survive. If you got a kid who 15, 16, running the streets, drilling and killing everything, you got to put that bitch ass nigga out. If you got a daughter and she fucking with a 4'2" nigga, and then she fucking with a 55 motherfucker, she doing the dual association shit, you put that little hoe out. Because bitch, you playing games. You're associating yourself with two opposite ends of the fucking spectrum. When that collide, you're gonna put yourself right in the heart of that shit. And once it happens, the people who you crossed, they ain't gonna give a fuck. They know where you stay at, because bitch, you run your mouth too much. Everybody know what you got going, right? They gonna come and they gonna shoot your ass, you catch on fire. Yeah. These young niggas, these YNs, they don't give a fuck about no female.
And just to remove the sting off of that, because in these times, even though it's still to some degree like a bit of a trickle down in terms of generation to generation, but in Detroit, like, it ain't even necessarily specifically quote unquote the 4'2" and 55.
No,
at this point,
just neighborhood disagreements.
At this point, it's some whole.
I'm glad you clarified that, because I don't, because I'm gonna get a phone call.
Yeah, in fact, that's why I did it.
I'm glad you did that,
bro.
right?
We ain't got nothing going on.
That
shit old as hell.
Hey, listen. All you community activists who's supposed to be this gang interventionists, start intervening. I'm gonna say that to you flat out. I'm blaming them. Because when you position yourself as an interventionist, when you position yourself as a liaison between the streets and the mayor's office and the police department, then you have a responsibility to do everything in your power to utilize the power and influence that you say you had. You've been to these meetings, you're on the news, you're in the newspaper. You're an interventionist, start fucking intervening in this shit then. Because there ain't no way in the world that y'all have positions, y'all getting paid for this shit. Y'all getting all the notoriety for being the go-betweens and being the motherfuckers who's trying to stop this shit from happening. Get y'all motherfucking ass to moving.
You know what? You couldn't be more on point. And first and foremost, from me personally, shout out to, all of the CVI groups. However, in order to really stop what's going on, we can't act like we don't know who the players is. We won't even mention the players but we can't act like we don't on the ground level, like we don't know who it is, what it's about, where it started from. So going into the community just randomly talking is not really solving anything. Why not go? My question to you is, why don't you feel that the CVI groups go directly to the people that's making a post, directly to the people that's trolling, directly to the people that's actually involved in
because what does CVI stand for?
What is it? Community violence intervention?
Whatever. Them niggas ain't the one drilling nothing. Them niggas is unk. Them niggas is big homies. So the issues may have started in their generation, but the motherfuckers who actually got boots on the ground, booted and suited, that shit has taken on a life of its own. They've lost lives. They've lost loved ones. They've been injured by all the shit that may have started 20 years ago, right? Them young niggas ain't paying no attention to them. When that whole shit started, when that whole interventionist shit started, and it was on the news a year ago, 2 years ago, I'm around these young niggas. Them young niggas ain't trying to hear none of that shit. Because motherfuckers are dying right now on the ground. And whereas as an OG, a part of my crew, you may have grown to the point where you are now mature enough to be able to forgive your ops, right? But these motherfuckers are freshly injured. They're wild animals who have been freshly injured. They're not of the mind state of forgiving a motherfucking thing. And where y'all niggas thought y'all was super thugging back then, these young niggas, y'all can't fuck with these young niggas right now. These young niggas shooting while the police is right there in the hood. You just saw the news where this news chick is reporting about a shooting, and while she reporting about a shooting, it sounds like Afghanistan behind her. Normally when the news hit the flow, when the news hit the hood, all the thugs do what? Disappear, because the news is the police. They go help the police.
Man. Detroit different,
man. Them young niggas don't listen. Respectfully, I respect and I acknowledge anybody, and I appreciate anybody who's trying to use their status or their stature to try to bring about some understanding and a peaceful resolution. But is it Ray Winings? Is he one of them?
Yep, shout out to Ray, yep.
Ray Winings don't got a motherfucking clue. You jumping in front of a camera for a photo op. But how in the fuck, if you are representing all this motherfucking interventionist type shit, why this shit so out of control? Why you can't go tap in, like you just said, to the motherfuckers who really, really moving and shaking? You got motherfuckers who are presenting themselves as liaisons. I gotta keep it gangster, bro. I'm sorry. You finna get criticized by what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna say it. You have some people, not all, who have positioned themselves as liaisons between the streets and the mayor's office, the streets, and the police chief and the city council. Some of these people were never supposed to be in that room because they're not connected or plugged in to the here and now. They're not plugged into the day-to-day. A lot of these motherfuckers, they've been graduated that shit. They live across 21 Mile. These young niggas still living in the trenches. They don't give a fuck. They can't tell them shit. If they could, what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah.
If their word means what they're trying to say their word means, if they're as influential as they're trying to say they are, why you got niggas jumping out broad daylight, hawking niggas down, and killing motherfuckers in broad daylight? Why you got motherfuckers shooting the police still on the set, the news still on the set?
Like ping pong, back and forth,
Why you got that shit
within
going
a
on?
matter of a week.
Why you got motherfuckers
weeks.
shooting up repasses and funerals and shit and parties out in the open with kids involved, with kids around, with little girls and older people around? Motherfuckers ain't plugged in with that shit they say they is, man. So the city council, the mayor's office, whoever, the police chief, y'all need to get some more representation. Cause these niggas y'all got, I'm gonna keep it funky. Them niggas they don't got no, I'm allowing you to say, or I'm trying to work hand in hand with you because I believe you can be effective in helping us squash and quell some of the problems before it even turns into violence. But obviously, you motherfuckers, who I think have the power and have the influence to do it, y'all ain't the motherfuckers. You need to get rid of them niggas.
So now I do want to say something because I want to bring all of the reported facts to the table. Mm-hmm. And as I was having a conversation with a brother, specifically Minister Troy, we was talking about relationships when he said this. Mm-hmm. But I think it connects to what I'm about to say. Oftentimes we highlight the bad and it makes it look like it's worse than what it is. Well, if we acknowledge the good, it kind of gives balance. So with the CVI groups, what's been reported is that there's been a decline in crime.
Man, you don't go ahead on with that shit, bro. Stop playing me. Now, you want me to keep it funky? You want me to keep this shit PG or you want me to tell the truth? Because now you're aggravating me with that shit. I don't give a fuck what no nigga reported. Nigga, when niggas is jumping out at repass and shooting indiscriminately 100 rounds. Hey, listen, hey Ray, what his name is?
Yeah, Ray.
I'm talking to Ray Winans. Hey Ray, I don't want to hear no follow up, nigga. I don't want you getting on the news like you're a reporter telling us about some shit that just took place. I want you to get in front of this shit. Get your hands dirty for real, player. I don't need you holding no motherfucking press conference after a motherfucker to blew a motherfucker down. When somebody crying, I don't want to hear that shit.
But to push back, because I don't even feel like all that responsibility weighs on Ray, because it's so many other people.
When something go wrong, you jump in front of the camera. No. No. When listen, when there's an uptick, when there's an insurgence of violence, he one of the first niggas to jump in front of that camera, ain't he? They interviewing him. They ain't interviewing Killer Man Fu, 55, 42, Killer Chop Suey ass. Niggas who really running that shit.
But you got bigger groups like New Era Detroit as well that, you get what I'm saying? That's out there, and when things go on.
Oh no, I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying. I salute anybody who's putting their lives and their time and effort and energy, their lives on the line, and investing their time, effort, and energy into trying to make a difference. I'm saying that some of these guys, and this is not, I'm not saying this as you're talking to somebody who, I went into 62 high schools across the city of Detroit, and in the Keep Our Schools Safe High School Music Tour, I was a motivational speaker. I went to 62 high schools across the metropolitan Detroit area, EEA and DPS schools, from fucking Grand Rapids down to fucking Battle Creek and what the fuck is that, Ben Harbor.
Yeah.
And I told the kids about my own personal experience and how I started getting locked up at 12 years old. And I told them about how I dug a hole for myself that even in my 40s and 50s, I was still trying to recover from. I told them about, my setbacks. I told them about everything that went into who I became and how I became an armed robber, you know what I'm saying, type shit. And how I didn't give a fucking how I was just shooting and doing all kind of crazy ass shit. So I acknowledge when a motherfucker is willing to put themselves on the front line. But I'm telling you, these niggas need to do more.
Right, this healthy criticism you saying. This
I don't give a fuck if they don't think it's healthy. We're talking about kids killing kids. We're talking about kids shooting 100 rounds and sending these shots up in the houses with babies. So if you're going to put yourself out there as a representative, as a liaison between what is good and proper and decent and that treachery, then when something goes wrong, I have to reevaluate my relationship with you because you're not being effective and maybe you're not the one. That's what the fuck I'm saying. And I don't give a fuck who it is. Don't jump on the TV when some shit then went wrong because motherfucker, as a liaison, as you plugged into this shit like you say you plugged into it, you supposed to be able to smell this shit brewing. You're supposed to be attacking this shit before the guns come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why you getting paid?
Because I'm gonna be honest, just from the sidelines, man, I could smell it from a mile away. Like if you tuned in to the music and you see what's going on, like you could really smell it from a mile away. And I will say, I don't really know how tapped in they are, but I will say it's some people over there that is familiar with the terrain.
Hey, listen, I'm familiar with $100 million. That don't mean I got it. I'm familiar with a Bentley. That don't mean I got one. I'm familiar with a big booty bad bitch. That don't mean I got one. A nigga can be familiar with the fuck he want from me. I'm interested in results. I'm interested, hey listen, to me, a liaison between all of the death and destruction, the pain and suffering that you see happening inside the ghetto, east side to west side, or wherever there's an urban situation. The true definition of a motherfucker who's presenting himself to be a liaison was an ambassador, as a go-between, as a motherfucker who really has his finger on the pulse of what's going on. I'm not interested in seeing you get on the news after niggas start blowing each other down.
So let me ask you this question. Now we about to, hypothetically, I'm about to put you in this situation and I want you to use your brains to explain what your course of actions would be. Let's say you got your hand on the post, right? And you're acting as a liaison between two groups, or, you know, the streets of Detroit with all of these various groups and different things like that. What would be the first, like, the courses of action that you would take?
My plan?
Yeah.
Really tap in to the people who are really making decisions. Really tap in with the people who really are operating with 0-degree sympathy and empathy and don't have no chill. Tap in with the motherfuckers who really on demon time out there. That's who needs, because that's where if there is the possibility for some resolution or reconciliation or understanding, if there's really an opportunity to avert a situation where somebody's going to lose their life, you got to tap in with the motherfuckers who are really on the ground. And the people who are really on the ground in the Bloods, in the Crips, and the 4-2 motherfuckers, the people who really on the ground with that shit, they wasn't at that meeting. You may have people who are affiliated, once was, but most of those people have graduated out of that shit and they're on the bigger and better things because they have matured in their thought process and their lives. You can look at the lives of those people for the most part and you can see how productive they are and how wise they become. But a lot of times there's a distinction between people who've obtained knowledge, wisdom, understanding, maturity, and have taken that and transformed their lives and the lives of their close family, friends, and loved ones and shit. And there's a disconnect between the motherfuckers who still on the ground.
And I'm glad you, because I want to make it absolutely clear, even with you saying that Doug definitely made a post, and he said that if anybody is 25 and under claiming 4-2, they is not original 4-2. So the stuff that's going on in the streets is people that's kids, as you said, 25 and under. You get what I'm saying? It's not those guys. So now my next question would
That's absolutely true, though.
Yeah.
Listen, I know it's true because I operate in 4-2 hood, right? But then you know where I'm from, right? So I operate in the middle of 4-2 hood. And then when I cross over and I hit the Warren, I operate in the middle of the fucking dead zone. So you have two polar opposites that are in walking distance to each other if they really want to collide, right? So it is what it is, but my whole thing is my solution.
Yeah.
Or what would I do? If I was sitting in front of the mayor or the city council president or just the city council as a whole, right? You guys need to tap into the people who are really on that demon time. And you need to understand that and I don't mean to be critical of the raid, what's his name? Winans.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be critical of any of those people. I don't mean to be critical of a new era Detroit. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, right? I'm saying that you're never going to have a public meeting between any member of law enforcement or any member of the mayor's office and the motherfuckers who really out there drilling and killing. Because these young niggas don't give a fuck about the police.
Yeah,
they don't respect them. They don't give a fuck about them.
It got to be a liaison.
It has to be somebody. And so the people who really out in the street putting the work in, they not sitting at these motherfucking meetings talking to them motherfucking Ray Winans or no Benny Napoleon. What's the chief of police name? Bennett? Is it Bennett?
I forget the brother name.
Is it Bennett?
I don't know. I honestly don't. I just see his face a lot, but I don't know his name.
What's his name? What that motherfucker? Hey, Siri.
Let me see. Chief, because we definitely want to get...
Hey, Siri.
In Detroit. It is Todd Benson. What is it? Is it him? No, that ain't the guy that's been up doing a lot of the talking. Chief of Police in Detroit.
I don't know who he is.
It say Todd Bedison.
That's his name.
Yep.
Hey, Mr. Bedison. Hey, Honorable Officer Mr. Bedison. Hey, Mary Sheffield. Hey, Mr. Ken Locke Jr., Honorable Pastor, Bishop. So there's no one solution to the shit that we see going on now because there's no one cause of it. It wasn't just because 55 so-and-so got killed, or 42 so-and-so got killed, or 7 Mile this got killed, or Crip this got killed. It is a process that has to be tackled by multiple segments in the community. And where the change is going to be made is not by no motherfucker claiming to be no liaison. The change has to be made by the people who live in these communities. If you're looking for a savior, oh, New Era Detroit gonna come in and say, no. New Era Detroit gonna come in there once that motherfucking gunshot get to popping, right? The people, the regular rank and file citizens have to take responsibility and accountability for the shit they allow to transpire in their hood. The gangs, there used to be a symbiotic relationship between gangs and the neighborhoods they were from. The gangs used to protect the elderly, the children, and the weakest amongst the people in their neighborhood. Now, the gangs are the biggest problem in their own neighborhoods. They eat their own kind, period. So you can't wait for Barack Obama or Mary Sheffield or whoever the fucking mayor is gonna be. Listen, niggas are always waiting for somebody outside their community to come inside their community to effectuate the change that they should be making their motherfucking self. If you tired of this shit, then you need to do something about it to our motherfucking self. Ain't no community activist group for no Ray Winans and no other motherfucker gonna cure this shit, because these niggas, they ain't listening to them niggas. They ain't listening to them. The only way you can start to make a real quantitative difference is if the people inside the communities stop being scared and band together to stop this shit.
On that note, segue a little bit, but still in the same vein, man, Charleston White, right? Because even with everything that's been going on, where it seems like the gangster of the most gangsters people is being exposed and revealed to not be who they say that they are. Charleston White's whole mission, based on what I know, has been to vehemently attack these people to dismantle this image. You can call them a snitch, you can say all of the things that you want to say about them, but at base, the conversation has always been do away with the illusion of these street guys, right?
That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do, because listen, we now know, because now we have more celebrities that are fallen. They're fallen angels. We place people who have celebrity status or people who just have money. We place them on a higher level. We place them on the top end of the totem pole. And we look up to them and we revere them, not because they're quality individuals, but because they have something that we wish we could have. They have a position that we wish we could be in. They have money or access to jewelry or cars or whatever that we wish we could do. So we look up to that kind of shit. We place the highest level of importance on that kind of shit. Charleston White is a lightning rod. So Charleston White, he is morphed into a thing. Charleston White knows that he's playing on the lack of intelligence that the consumers of YouTube and podcasting and the world of hip hop and the world of urban culture have. He knows that black people gravitate towards the most negative shit about ourselves. They don't give a fuck about none of that positive shit. Black people like to see the gossip. They like to see all the turmoil. They like to see the criticism. We love it. We love it when we criticize each other. We love that shit. That's why No Jumper exists. No Jumper is not a bastion of positivity that exemplifies the best of what black people or the hip hop culture or urban culture has to offer. No Jumper was created on the back of exposing and of instigating issues between the Crips and Bloods in California. And then it morphed into exposing the most negative aspects about 1090 Jake. You don't see 1090 Jake saying, you don't see him going to schools. 1090 Jake's claim to fame is exposing motherfuckers who motherfuckers looked up to. We have to wake up from the fantasy. Charleston White, I don't give a fuck about Charleston White. You know why? Because Charleston White just wants to be interviewed. He gets paid to be interviewed about whatever he's talking about. Is he wrong about the shit he's saying? He has been wrong about his approach, about the tone and tenor, and about some of the things that he's tried to include into the conversation. But he's only doing it because he knows that if he makes himself a lightning rod, that people are going to pay him for his opinion about whatever the situation is. So he's using people's anger and frustration about him and over him against them to continue to make himself relevant, and niggas fall right into the dumbass shit. And now you see Lil Woody. Lil Woody has made himself a lightning rod. It's about making yourself a lightning rod.
Speaking of Lil Woody, did you see him get hit off his motorcycle?
Yeah, I seen him get hit.
What'd you think about that? Because that was right after he, kind of went live and was saying certain things. You think that was a coincidence?
Motherfuckers don't pay attention to people on bikes. Let me tell you something, bro. Ain't no motherfucker going to Mechanicsville, USA, and doing shit to Lil Woody. Nothing. I've been down there on Pryor Street, right? On that one way, right there where 656 is, and in Woody's hood. Lil Woody is a goat down there in his hood, you hear me? And he a stepper. All the principal figures of YSL are free, right?
Yeah.
They're free. You see, and they say Lil Woody a rat, right? That's what they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Lil Woody said on trial, they asked him, was he concerned about his safety? He said, no. They need to be concerned about their safety.
He said that on the stand for sure.
We live in the era of the gangster rap, bro. These motherfuckers, listen, even though these niggas in turn bold, they know that you a bitch ass nigga and you a hoe, and bitch, I'll slap you, bitch ass nigga. I told to save my own life, but at the same time, nigga, you know you a hoe and I'll spank your ass. Lil Woody is a spanker for real. And that's not me celebrating him. That's just me telling motherfuckers who don't live, don't operate, never been to the city of Atlanta, right? And there are Lil Woodies in every city. There are Lil Woodies here in the city of Detroit. Saying I'm lying. There are Lil Woodies here who will tell on you and spank your ass. Back to back. You take your pick. The biggest rats in the city of Detroit, you don't hear niggas on these podcasts and blogs talk about them, these local blogs. These local, no. They know why? Because these niggas still out here moving and grooving. And niggas don't want that kind of pressure. The biggest snitches in the city of Detroit, the dope gang, them niggas not in prison. Them niggas out here right now, going to Somerset, going to Cancun, going to LA, going to Atlanta, going to Miami, going to Houston, moving around right now.
I wanna hit on this last topic. I was watching a clip from what's the music I don't want to call him a music mogul, but
Say mine.
What's the brother name, man? He give a lot of jewels and information.
Ray Daniels?
Yeah. I was listening to Ray Daniels talk about hip hop and why it's been declining, right?
Yeah.
But I want to connect it to Detroit. Mm-hmm. He said the reason why sports is the biggest, business and form of entertainment is because when the players get off the court, at 7 o'clock in the morning, Sports Center come on, all of these different platforms to talk about, critique the sports. With Detroit, you can't make a list saying who you feel is the greatest artist. You can't compare or have a debate. You can't criticize a person's album and saying, I rock with these songs. I feel like he could have came better. His last project was better than that. You can't do no Mount Rushmores. You can't do none of that in Detroit without criticism. From your perspective of the Detroit music scene and entertainment as it connects with the podcast and as it correlates with freedom to express, we ain't even talk about no street stuff, but just to express your thoughts about the music, period. What do you feel about that?
First of all, if you're going to operate in the YouTube streets, whether you're a blogger, a podcaster, a commentator, whatever, if you want to be successful, you cannot be afraid to tell it like it is, to give your real, unfettered opinion, or to speak truth to power. if you want to be successful in the YouTube streets or in this domain, in this medium, it's just like anything else. Whether you want to, if you endeavor to be an NBA player or an NFL player or what have you, you have to have at least the courage of your own convictions. You have to be a stand-up guy. You have to be truthful. People can sense when you are being disingenuous or when you half-assing it. And when they sense that, they're not going to buy into your brand. When it comes to YouTube and what happens with the YouTubers in the city of Detroit, it is my firm belief that a lot of these podcasters and bloggers have allowed themselves to be bullied and or threatened and or intimidated. And they are afraid to tell the truth like it is, even if it's a criticism, even if it's a opinion that may go against or may be contrary to what they believe about themselves. I believe that there's an attempt. I know that there's an attempt by the old guard to try to put a muzzle on the YouTubers and the bloggers. I know that some of the so-called most powerful people in the city of Detroit have reached out in the attempt to try to threaten and intimidate the bloggers and the podcasters to stop them or to reel them in or to whip them into position. It just happened. It just happened with Rock Cobain. I did one of my most expansive interviews with Rock Cobain and the Cobain Report. Shout out to Caesar and shout out to the young lady, I miss her name now. And before the interview dropped, you had motherfuckers who didn't like me reached out to him and tried to stop the interview from airing. They had multiple people call Rock and say, don't put that interview out with Dawgface. Or, I heard you was a stand-up, high-caliber person. I can't believe that you letting somebody like that come on your show to say disparaging things about me. And some of the people who reached out to Rock are people Rock been trying to get an interview with for 2-3 years. Never responded to him. Left him unread on the DM. The people who he had reached out to, these same bitch-ass niggas, ignored the request to come on his show. The first time they ever acknowledged him at all was when they knew that he did an interview with me. And they thought they knew what it was I was going to say about them. And so, to all the podcasters, all the YouTubers, y'all stop acting like some bitch-ass niggas and do y'all shit. Because y'all waiting for a favor from these hoe-ass niggas. These niggas are not going to give y'all no motherfucking favors. They ain't going to do shit. Motherfuckers complain about Kid L. All of them running Kid L. If you was to reach out to these same motherfuckers, they going to act like they don't even motherfucking know you.
Because I was going to also say, too, like, you know, not to even necessarily keep it at the OGs. It's even, you know, with some of the younger artists where...
They want to control the YouTube streets. The average motherfucker in the city of Detroit who operates in the world of entertainment, they don't understand YouTube. They think YouTube is like Instagram and Facebook. They want to control it and narrate it. They want to caption it. They want to control who's the voices and who ain't the voices. Bitch ass niggas don't control the YouTube streets, bro. I'm the innovator. I'm the motherfucker who started this shit when it comes to podcasting in the city of Detroit. I would never let these motherfuckers. I travel across the country doing what I'm doing right now. Doing what I'm doing right now, and I'm effective at doing what I'm doing right now. I would never let the old guard or these young fools who take their concept of what shit is supposed to be from these old fuckboy ass niggas. That's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
They're gonna do what they're gonna have to do.
And that's why I say, even when it comes to the music, like, you know what I mean? Not even necessarily
Stop
about
being
no
so
street
thin
shit.
skinned. Hey, listen, the reason why so criticism should breed competition. Criticism shouldn't breed anger and frustration. It should breed, get off your ass, make better work, make better product. Stop being so sensitive. Stop acting like your mama, you bitch ass nigga. Man up. Take them panties off and put some motherfucking dunk-duns on. That's what's wrong with these silk draw wearing ass niggas. Don't criticize me. You criticize me. Who are you to criticize me? Nah, nigga, I'm a fan of hip hop. I'm a fan of music. I'm a fan of urban culture. I'm a fan of urban politics. So therefore, if I think that shit ain't hitting on shit, I'ma say it. So what that should do is inspire you to get in there and do it again. And make better product. produce better music, produce better videos, produce better content. Stop being so motherfucking sensitive. Bro, niggas criticize me all the time. Do you hear me calling you, telling you, somebody criticize me? It comes with it, bro. I've had some of the most powerful people in the world call me to check on me. Are you okay? They say X, Y, Z. I don't give a fuck what they say about me, bro. Stop being so thin-skinned, right? And if you're in this business, you're going to get criticized. People are not going to like and not going to appreciate what you do. You'll never be anything. You'll never have any level of success if you're worried about what a motherfucker who ain't doing nothing for you or doing nothing in comparison to what you got going on. Ain't helping you in no way do shit. You'll never get nowhere by listening to these niggas because these niggas want to be you, right? They want to do what you're doing. They don't want you to do it. Fuck them.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right about that, man. They ain't looking to give no favors or support, man. Shout out to the cities, man, where the artists actually go to the platforms in their city. You know what I mean? Whether it's small, man. I done seen Detroit artists get on out-of-town platforms that got 5,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Hey, listen,
man.
let me keep it gangster with you. You know the real-life street comedy nigga from Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Milwaukee didn't make him. You know who made him? Ice Revezo, Peasy, all the Flint boys, Louis Ray, YNJ, RMC Mike. That's who made him. All the Baby Moneys, the GTs, the Peasies, the fucking Double Cash Out Squad, Payroll. That's who made that nigga career. They made that nigga and ran to him. Not ran to him as in ran behind him, but they made his career. He ain't even from here. Say I'm lying.
No, that's a fact.
Say I'm lying. His access to Detroit's A-list celebrities, A-list rappers, made him bigger in Milwaukee. So he come on Kid L and say what Milwaukee did for Detroit artists. No, nigga. Or you can say what you want to say, right? We'll have at it. I'm not mad because you said that. But don't forget, nigga, your success, real life street comedy, is directly parallel to you making friends and building association with Detroit artists who's on their way up and rocking it about this motherfucker. So that's who helped you. Don't forget that. So I want y'all to look at what happened with real life street comedy. Look at what happened with some other bigger blogs. Listen, you'll have a motherfucker who will pay Say Cheese. Say Cheese ain't posting these rap niggas shit for free, right? You'll have motherfuckers who, they put Say Cheese in their budget. They put Big Mouth Media in their budget. They put No Jumper in their budget, but they want the Detroit blogs to post their shit for free.
Yep.
You have these, make these rappers respect y'all, bro. You're not finna get no favor from these niggas, because these niggas already think they bigger than the program. So if you don't want to report on something because it may offend somebody and you don't want to blow the possibility of landing an interview with these motherfuckers, do your shit, bro.
No, real talk.
Do your
that's
shit.
Why it was a pivotal conversation that I was having with an artist, man. And, you know, he came on the platform, man. Shout out to bro. But it was a pivotal conversation that put a lot of things into perspective with me and, you know, the artist. You know, he said, I was talking about coming on the platform. At first, he was kind of like, man, you know, what we gonna do? Ask the same questions, whatever the case may be. But he later on went to say, bro, you got to think about it, man. I done did interviews in Cali. I done did interviews in Chicago, all type of. So it made me realize, and these guys' mind, they already made it. Mm-hmm. And we not adding no type of value to them. That's how they. But
let me tell you something, right? Listen. If you allow, so they can have that superior, high-minded attitude all they want to have. But at the same time, they need media to talk about them because most of the nationwide platforms, they gravitate towards what's going on here. And they pick up, listen, for all you bloggers who think that the bigger nationwide podcasts ain't, or bloggers are not listening to y'all, y'all wrong. They watching y'all. Y'all are important. Y'all are vital to the overall growth and the elevation and the stimulation of the Detroit entertainment scene. Don't let these rappers and their management and their fake ass labels, don't let these motherfuckers convince y'all that y'all not who y'all say y'all are, think y'all are. Because in they mind, they think they big shit. So Detroit Rap News, Detroit Rap Daily, Detroit Got Talent, y'all all are a vital part of the motherfucking, the Kid L's of the world, the motherfucking
Shy versus everybody.
All the motherfucking V-Live Keeses, the Forum magazine. All y'all important, man. Don't let these motherfucking rappers define y'all and tell y'all who y'all are and what y'all can and can't do. Motherfuck that. Y'all do y'all shit. And listen, I want to propose something to all the blogs. Stop posting these niggas shit for free. These niggas paying no jumper. They paying Say Cheese. They paying all these other platforms. They putting that shit in their budget. When they launching their project or they going with their motherfucking promo run, they paying for this shit. Or it's like a quick pro quo. You scratch my back, I scratch y'all back. Stop posting these niggas shit for free. These niggas got Say Cheese and this and that and third in their budget. They get that in their budget. Have them put y'all in their budget. Stop posting their shit for free.
Yeah. And that's one thing, man, I'm going to leave on this note, man. One thing that you got to know is, hey, it don't matter how high you go, man. Everybody got to come back down. But with this media, bro, a person could be 60, 70 years old still doing this.
Still having motion.
You can't you can't be no rapper at 60, 70 years old.
No,
so at some point, you got to, especially as clean as the Detroit blogs has been doing it. Detroit blogs don't necessarily post no messy stuff.
Shit, no none
it's
of that
always
shit.
holding the artist in a good light. It's always promoting it right. When you got other cities, man, they don't give a damn what it is.
They saying it.
If it's going on in the media in they city,
it's newsworthy.
They posting it. It's newsworthy. Detroit don't do that. So it's much respect to everybody, but put some respect on everybody.
Hey, listen.
That part.
Can I take us out? Hey, listen. Hey, Detroit media, whether you are social media or you are YouTube based, right? Make these motherfuckers put some respect in y'all name. If these niggas don't want to give y'all no exclusive content, they want y'all to post their album being released for free. They want y'all to post their new chain, their new whip, all that kind of shit. When y'all reach out to them to ask for any exclusive drops or any exclusive sound bites or blurbs, they don't want to do it to you. They don't want to give it to y'all. So y'all post these niggas shit for free. They getting off on y'all. Stop that whole ass shit. Fuck these niggas. Foreign Magazine, I'm out. Y'all know what it is.
That's what it is. Dawgface, Foreign Magazine, Post of the Culture. Let's get it.